Welcome back to the Superheroes Everyday podcast. I'm Danny Horn, and I am here with Stuart Jipp from the Retronauts podcast. Hey, Stuart.
Hello. I'm still here. We're not done with the movie yet. There's still quite a lot more to go.
There really, really is.
We got very distracted before, but this time we're going to be very focused and we're going to get
Absolutely.
everything done very well,
Yeah, and we got a
very
bunch of serious
nicely.
topics coming up. So,
Very serious indeed,
yeah.
and we're not. There won't be any jokes. It's going to be completely it's going to be a completely laugh-free second act. Basically, I refuse. There are certain things that aren't funny, and I refuse to joke about.
Yeah, we've got some hot button stuff coming up for sure.
Yeah, can't wait.
This is Act 2 of the 2003 political thriller X2 X-Men United. The story so far, there is an evil wizard named William Stryker who apparently has unlimited funds, which he can spend on making hypnotic neck juice and just fucking with mutants in any way he feels like. So far, he has hypnotized Magneto and Nightcrawler and Lady Deathstrike for some reason. He has captured Professor Xavier and Cyclops. He has invaded the Xavier Academy and stolen a handful of mutant children. And he's going to store them in a dark pit somewhere in Canada, I guess. And yet, in the area of fucking with people, William Stryker is still not as bad as director Bryan Singer. So let's pick things up in Act 2. And specifically, speaking of picking things up, we are picking up dudes in a bar, and here is Mystique, finally, after a movie and a half, in her absolutely gorgeous Rebecca Romijn costume.
Yeah.
She is blonde and stunning, and this is the first time in 2 movies that they've bothered to clue us in on that. I can't believe they kept her under blue makeup all this time. The TV's blaring, they're talking about the mutant problem, and here is Officer Lario, who's the mean guard from Eric's plastic prison,
Yeah,
and
he's Paul Blart.
she kind of just shabooms over to the table, introduces herself. She's all flirty and insane, and puts some Rohypnol in his beer. Going to the bathroom, she's all up on him. She's being very aggressive. He finishes his beer and passes out. This is basically a slice of life for Bryan Singer. Like,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
he used to do this kind of shit all the time. And so here's Mystique pulling down the guy's pants and injecting him with some silver fluid, which is who knows what. I am not sure how she accomplishes the thing that she's about to do. But the thing that she's about to do is so much fun, I don't really care. And here we are at Alkali Lake in probably Alberta. Welcome to Alkali Lake.
We're back again.
We are back. Xavier wakes up. It's all dark and green, as secret facilities always are in movies. I don't know why the lighting works that way, but
Yeah.
but this is Stryker's secret play space, which is the site of an abandoned dam for some reason. You got thoughts on this setting?
It's a pretty cool setting, but it seems kind of obvious to me. Is that fair to say? Like, if I saw a
Mhm.
place like this, I would immediately assume there was an evil base in it.
Yes.
I don't want to, I don't want to upset the apple cart with this one, but I think he could have hidden it better. I think in a weird way, I would say less is more. If he
Yeah.
just used like a laundromat, like kind of Better Call Saul style, like laundromat, maybe
Yeah.
that might work. But no, it's a big dam. I'm going to assume there's an evil genius in there somewhere.
Right. Well, especially
And
with
there's
this
some
kind of
experiments.
lighting, it
Yeah,
has to be. Nobody else would choose this.
it's true.
Professor Xavier, Stryker and Eureka are there when Xavier wakes up. He's got a neural inhibitor, which means basically plot wise, we don't want you
Yeah, don't worry about it.
to do any hypnotism right now. Says that Scott's getting a little re-education, and then they have a conversation about Jason. Xavier says, like, you wanted me to cure your son, but mutation isn't a disease.
Yeah.
So then we find out a little bit about Jason in his home life, that when Jason came back, he resented them, his parents, he blamed his parents. And Stryker says he would toy with our minds, projecting visions and scenarios into our brains. And he was just a dick about it.
I don't really understand why he blamed his parents when it's like, man, clearly not their fault. Like, no one would believe that. There was no reasonable excuse for that. I mean, I guess he's a villain, that's why. But like, it's really obviously not their fault that he's a mutant.
I don't
So why
know.
didn't he just
I don't know if you'd
immediately
feel that way.
go?
I mean, you got that kind of teenager, like, I didn't ask to be born kind of thing.
I guess that's true. Yeah, yeah, I can see it in that respect. Yeah, but on the other hand, no, I refuse to accept it.
Yeah,
Jason sucks. What a douche, honestly.
he really does. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's creepy looking. He doesn't talk.
he pretends to be a little girl. I mean, if it's an identity thing, then that's fine. But it's not. He's just being weird and creepy.
Yes. And it's his brain where Stryker is getting this mind control fluid. So apparently that's a thing you can do with people is if they
The
have
very like off, they just like, yeah, I'm getting the mind control fluid from his brain. Okay, mate. All right. Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
I'm just tapping his pineal gland every once in a
Yeah,
while and
yeah.
pulling some out.
Yeah, just getting a little like little hammer and chisel to the back of
Yeah.
his skull, trepan him and turn his head sideways, pour it out into like a beaker,
Well, that's
and
why
we
that's
get
why they created these mysterious neck ports.
yeah. So yeah, to drain all the disgusting fluid out
Yeah.
of your brain. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. And this is just Logan Roy being bad at parenting. We get and I love this little thread at Bobby's house where
Oh,
the
this is the most on the nose part of the whole movie. It's amazingly funny.
yeah, and
But it's funny intentionally. I think it works as kind of a comedy sequence. But the whole idea, the whole sequence of that, have you tried not being a mutant? It's like, oh, come on. Like, really? I mean, I get it, but really, come on, guys.
yeah, this is him coming out to his parents. He has brought friends over, and these
Yeah.
friends are the friends that these are kind of suspicious friends. His parents find Wolverine like going through the
Yeah,
refrigerator.
just drinking their beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this. This is like the worst plan ever. It's just
Yes.
like it's not
We're
gonna
just
work.
we're just gonna hide here for a minute.
If you walk into your house and the first thing you see is Wolverine drinking a
Yes.
beer, you're not going to be like, "Who the hell are you?" You're going to be like, "Oh, hey, buddy, how can I help you? I'll do anything,
Right,
anything
yeah.
at all."
For you, enormous
Yeah,
tank topped,
enormous scary
clearly
claws,
clearly
man.
crazy person. Yeah. Yeah, so they do like a coming out scene. And this is I like this because this is the
Is it?
one. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I don't want to be that guy who says this about everything, but like, is it distasteful to do this? Do you think, like, or
What for coming out?
well, just the way that it's presented as equivalent of sort of homosexuality, I
Uh,
guess. Like, and it's also played kind of as a joke. Like, I just wonder if that's something that they would probably not do now.
uh,
Not that I mind it or anything. I just
yeah.
was
No,
just
I understand.
wondering if it plays that way. That's
It
all.
like I can speak to my own response to it as a gay dude.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I totally agree the analogy is flawed for sure in the sense that the X-Men are incredibly dangerous and gay
yeah,
people are more or less fine. So it's always a little weird to say that coming out as gay is the same thing as coming out as someone who kills people with their venom breath. But like
yeah,
in the context of it's something that you're born with that could happen in any family, and you don't really find out about it until you hit puberty, like
yeah,
that's kind of spot on.
yeah.
And the moment that happens here is a real thing that I recognize. The funny thing about it is they find Bobby with Wolverine, who's like an older guy who is utterly terrifying.
Yeah, yeah,
But I see this scene as validation of that experience. Like I don't think they're making fun of it. And it's funny that Bobby thinks like the way I'm gonna make this okay is by using my power to
yeah, yeah,
completely
yeah,
freak you out,
yeah.
freeze your teacup, and like, and they say Rogan Bobby say like, and he can do more stuff too. He can do terrifying things.
I don't blame Ronnie for just immediately shopping them to the cops. To be honest, like
Ronnie's not having it. Yeah,
yeah, Ronnie's like, fuck this shit. Like, there's the home invaders are freezing my drink. I mean, it's not iced tea season at all. Like, I can't be having this at all. He's on the phone. Hello, Lipton. I got someone you may want, but it's going to cost you.
you're gonna have to clear these people out of my house. What else do we got? We got oh, Eric breaking out of prison. That's where we are now.
Yeah,
The mean guard, Lorio, he's coming in. They scan him before going in, and he doesn't have any metal with him. But when he walks into Eric's cell, Eric can tell there's something that's different about you. And so he apparently, what Mystique did
yeah,
was she crushed up like a bunch of iron supplements and
yeah.
put them in a syringe, and she just kind of like jabbed it into Lorio's ass.
See, I thought that they were like iron filings or something. That's what I assumed, or just like not. I don't know.
Yeah,
All I know is this is one of my favorite scenes. This absolutely
it
whips
is really
ass.
good.
This is
I
absolutely
totally
awesome
agree.
scene. Yeah,
Yeah,
like what a gross scene to have in the middle of a kids superhero movie.
it
Like
is
it's
the one
super
place
gross.
I make fun all the time of bloodless
Yeah,
murder with no consequence in superhero
yeah,
movies because like it totally makes sense why you don't want to show a lot of blood in a kids movie, but also it means that the superheroes can do terrible things to people
yeah,
without you feeling bad about it. This is
yeah,
this is the one where there's not a lot of blood. There's just a little blood as like
No,
the
but it
iron
just
sort of
seems so
streams out of him.
painful. It just seems so
Yeah,
utterly agonizingly
it is
painful.
awful. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's kind of awesome, like for it. It's just like
absolutely.
the stakes are so high all of a sudden that I'm really into it. I think it's great.
And he's so cool about it. He just like
Yeah,
creates these floating.
too much iron in your blood.
Yeah,
I love it. I mean, I just love Ian McKellen as Magneto. I think he's just got to. He's Magneto is such a great character, and
yeah.
I think Ian McKellen just absolutely nails it. Like it's so much fun. I love him.
One thing that I like about him is he's very calm
Yeah,
in all of his scenes. He always has like a stillness to him,
yeah,
and he seems amused by basically everything around him in the world because everybody is dumber than him.
yeah,
I like that about him. I think it puts him in a nice position.
yeah. Strong. I strongly agree. He's just a very well realized take on the character. I think
Mhm.
it is different from the comics because in the comics he's a lot more prone to going insane and yelling at you.
Yeah. And here he will still do a villain monologue if he has to,
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
but he will do it in a more conversational way, and
Yeah, absolutely.
it will be scarier than it would have been otherwise if he was just like a ranting crazy person.
Yeah, and I think that the comics actually took a lot of this back with them as well.
Yeah. He moves the balls around and then he flattens one of them out in order to walk, get kind of transported across this big black gap.
Yeah,
A thing that I like here is like Mystique again, unbelievably competent. She didn't tell anybody that she was doing this. She just
yeah,
she just went and figured out how to deliver some iron to Magneto. I think that she is the star of the movie.
yeah. She's great. Yeah, it's a shame she gets jobbed out so badly in the next one. I mean, they come around when Jennifer Lawrence starts playing her. They realize that she's the most interesting character
Yeah.
and almost make her the sort of main character in Days of Future Past.
Mm-hmm.
But
Here she's kind of it's more in the background.
yeah,
She's just doing stuff all the time. Like
yes,
helpful stuff, move the plot along stuff. I think
yes,
that's the thing that's really great about her is like she does something and every single thing that she does will move the plot forward a step.
yeah.
We want Magneto out of that plastic box.
Yeah, we do, because then things after he gets out of there, the plot starts going at an absolute mile a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, agreed. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but this is like a 2 hour plus movie that feels like it's like a sprint the entire time, I think. And
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way. It just gets to the goddamn point. There's no bullshit.
And it's
Um,
packed with stuff. Like that's
yeah,
why, we have been and will continue to find all of these little plot threads that would be
yeah,
interesting if they had explored, but they didn't.
yeah,
What that means about the film is not that it's a stupid film. It means that like there were so many interesting ideas in here
yeah.
that they
Well,
didn't get a chance to do all that.
well, the thing is, back then, there was no cinematic universe.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
just we're doing these movies. We might not get to do another one of these movies. We better put as much cool stuff in as we can.
Yeah.
But now then with say the MCU, it's more sort of like, well, we don't need to do this now because we're going to
Because
be
we'll do
doing
it
this
and
Disney
yeah.
Plus thing, and
Right. We are back at Bobby's place, which is
yes,
now surrounded by police. Police come out, a bunch of them, and they all have guns. And Wolverine goes out and unsheaths his claws, and the police are not pleased with that at all.
yeah, because it is literally like when he's like amped up, he can't turn them off, right?
Yeah.
That's what the scene, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that
He's
scene always they don't really explain that,
like,
to me it makes the scene a little odd. They don't really explain that that's why he's not turning them off.
right, because he could just retract them.
Yeah, but apparently, but you can't do that because he can't when he's angry. He can't retract
Yeah.
them. I think that's been established, but
And when
it's a
they're
bit
pointing
odd.
guns at him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I love what happens in here though, because of my love for Pyro, which is just about to come.
Yes.
Yeah, they tell Wolverine, put the knives down. He says that he can't. He tries to put his hand up, and an officer shoots him in the head. Rogue gets real upset about that. Everyone gets down on the ground, and Rogue is upset about Wolverine getting shot in the head, even though she knows full well that he can heal up from that. She saw him, I
Does
believe,
she? Does that happen in the
in
first
the
one?
first movie.
I'm not challenging you. I'm just
Yeah,
curious
she
if that has
has,
been established.
yeah, she absolutely like the whole thing in the first movie with Rogue is basically the only time she uses her powers are when she sucks out the healing stuff
Mm,
from Wolverine. So yeah, she definitely
right.
knows.
Okay.
I don't know why she's upset. But then there's John, beautiful Pyro, who has just kind of been in the background for the movie so far.
Yes.
He has the most kick-ass line. You know those dangerous mutants you see on the news? I'm the worst one.
Yeah, that's a great line. Yeah.
And then he just shoots fire everywhere.
What would have been funnier line, in my opinion, if he said, "You know those dangerous mutants you see on the news?" And then there was a really long pause, and then he said, "The same thing that happens to
Happens to
everything
everybody
else."
else.
Yeah.
It is that kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like a killer line, and then he just starts killing people. Ronnie is not thrilled. The brother upstairs looking out the window, he was kind of hoping for a different outcome. But Pyro's having a great time. He is shooting to kill. He is blowing up cars. And you see his face. He thinks killing cops is fun.
Yeah. ACAB.
And I have to say, he makes a solid case for it. He just
Yeah. Good,
loves,
good stuff. Pyro is awesome.
yeah.
Pyro is based, I guess they would say.
And the police don't fire at him, which is funny because this feels like exactly the kind of thing they should be shooting at.
Yeah, agreed.
But they just let him roll.
Yeah, they don't fire at him, and then like Storm comes down, and they just like unleash everything, and they're just
Yeah.
like kill her, kill her. But then like Pyro's just like me. In the meantime, he's literally burning a toddler, and they're like, whatever.
Yes. They really do not notice that. Like Rogue, the only way to turn him off is for Rogue to grab his ankle and pull all the fire power out of him. And so she can put all those fires out.
Well,
Uh,
he's the opposite of Iceman because the only way to turn Iceman on is for Rogue to grab him.
that's a really good point.
Yeah, it's clever. It's what we call
Yeah.
it's what we call duality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bullet falls out of Wolverine's head, and then the jet arrives. Wolverine has contacted Storm and Jean, and now here they are touching down on the front lawn with
Mm.
all this kind of mess. And this, as an example of bloodless murder with no consequence, like this is a huge event that just happened that people should notice. It should be on the news that this thing has just happened. And the X-Men do not mention it ever
Hmm.
again. Pyro gets kind of a look from Wolverine, and that is literally the only thing that anybody does. He burned a guy's shirt at the beginning of Act One, and Xavier had to step in and freeze everybody in the whole museum in order to give him a little pointless talking to. Here, it's just like, all right, we're on our way.
Pyro.
I love Pyro.
Pyro, what do you? I can't believe that you killed all
He
those
just
people,
murdered all
Pyro.
those people.
The
Yeah,
X-Men don't do that.
they don't talk about it. They don't even like give him a look. Like nothing happens to Pyro. He's totally fine.
That's really funny. Like, just like whatever, they're fine with this.
You're
Well,
right.
Mew and I, Pyro, we're going to have quite a talking to him and get back to the mansion. He sits him down and is like, "Evolution is." Sorry, I'll stop. I will stop going back to that well
You
eventually.
don't.
One
You
of
do
these.
not have to. No, I love
Okay,
it
one
every
of these
time.
days.
I love it every time. Uh, right, because it's they're being they're totally fine with being reckless and crazy, and like you were saying, like
Yeah.
cannot blame. Like Stryker does not say a thing that's wrong when he says that these folks are dangerous and need to be.
I don't like
We need
his
to have some kind of
methods.
framework
I
around
don't want to
them.
be fascist towards mutants, but at the same
Right.
time, I do strongly feel as though there is like a difference between oppressed people and oppressed people who can kill you with their mind.
We're about to get another example of that too,
Yeah.
which nobody addresses. Bobby just before he leaves, he kind of like just looks up at his family in the window and it's just like, screw you.
Yeah.
They don't really talk to him or comfort him either. Nightcrawler gets a bunch of like empathy and connection from Storm and everybody.
Yeah, it's just like,
But
hey, I just had to abandon the people who raised me and who I love more than anyone in the world. Shut up, Bobby.
he just looks out the
Go and
window.
chill my friggin' drink.
Yeah. So it's just another one of those. They have so many things to do that's the story thread just ends right there with Bobby being unhappy. And then the fighter planes come in correctly. Finally,
Yeah.
the rest of the world does something sensible. They don't respond. They don't even say like fuck you.
Oh,
It seems to not even occur to them to have any kind of conversation about this. They're just like still flying and they're like, okay, well now what do we do? You know, we don't have any weapons. So my answer would have been like, let's just have Rogue go out there and like touch those planes and
hmm
take all of their flying stuff and then they crash and everything's fine. We can just keep going. But That doesn't happen. Instead, what happens is that Storm makes an endless series of tornadoes over Massachusetts, which is not prepared for this. They don't have tornadoes in Massachusetts. This is going to be very difficult for them down at ground level. And it's just they do not care how many people they kill, as long as they can just kind of keep going. They figure out how to deal with these missiles that are coming. Jean's using her telekinesis to move one of them, and she gets a little fire in her eyes, which, if you know what's coming, is a little bit scary for her. And then the other one basically actually hits the plane, and there's now a hole in the back of the plane, and Rogue just falls right out the plane. Apparently not
Yikes.
wearing her seatbelt. It's a beautiful, actually scary little moment
Well, I mean, it wasn't clever of her now, was it? Like,
to not have her seatbelt on when the
yeah,
plane is
unbelievably foolish.
yeah, when the plane has been doing like barrel rolls for the last minute. Yeah, she's just been freestyling. But then Nightcrawler bamfs out and picks her up and brings her back on the plane, which is super cute and gives him something
She's
to
just
do.
been like, this is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is cute. It's a nice moment.
yeah.
It's a nice bit of peril. They execute it really well, I have to say. I
Mhm.
mean, you know it's going to be fine, but Nightcrawler gets another cool moment. He gets quite a lot of moments in this movie.
Yeah,
It's a shame that they didn't really significantly bring him back, as far as I understand. This is like his one.
yeah.
He's not in the next one, is he?
No,
I
he's
think
not.
they address it like they're like, yeah, he fucked off back to the church or something.
Right. I can imagine Alan Cummings like
Yeah,
maybe not wanting to do all of that stuff, all of the makeup and costume the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
entire time
Understandable,
when he
understandable.
when he's not like if he was the main character in the movie,
Well, they
that
should
might
have
be
just got a
different.
real. They should have just got a real blue guy to play
That
him
is true.
instead of this appropriation thing.
There aren't enough good roles for blue people in movies.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, there's the Smurfs. That's it. If they ever did a biopic about the Blue Man Group, I guess. But other than that,
Yeah.
nothing. Oh, Avatar. Duh. Oh my God, I forgot Avatar.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah, well
can't
that's
believe I
actually
forgot about Avatar. I'm
you're
so
totally
embarrassed.
right.
Well, actually, I'm not surprised at all because I've never seen Avatar and I have no interest in doing so. So,
Well, you know what it is? I don't really see color. So
fair play, fair play. No,
yeah.
that's fair enough. I guess I've got a lot of thinking and learning to do.
Yes, you do. We've both got a lot to think about.
Yeah,
Storm's crashing the plane, but
shit.
in a really fortuitous coincidence, Magneto just happens to be standing on that hill right where they're about to crash. And
Or
and
is it a coincidence, or is he planned it all along like a Machiavellian genius?
maybe he was controlling the planes
Maybe
and
he
the, and
was. Maybe he
and
was
the
controlling
missiles
all
and
the
everything.
planes.
Yeah,
He's that good.
he's off the leash. Who knows what he's
Yeah,
doing?
he's this guy's crazy. You don't know what he's gonna
Yeah,
do.
he's just standing on a hill somewhere with Mystique so that they can have a nice little campfire scene.
I mean, Magneto. He's just every scene he's in. You're just like, yes, mate,
Yeah,
Magneto.
he's doing the thing.
He's just king shit. I love him.
And they don't do any like try acting with him,
No,
which is like what people do when they're supposed to be like trying really hard. Everybody, Jean gets a ton of try acting. Um,
yeah,
Magneto is just not bothered. He just moves his
yeah.
hand and whatever. He could
It's
just
a piece of piss for him. Yeah,
yeah, stopping a falling jet that's coming down on him. There's a bunch of like campfire scenes now. We're now camping out. This is basically what's happening here is now like bringing Magneto and Mystique into the X-Men group so that
yeah,
they can have some time to deal with each other before they team up and go and get Stryker. And they do a super cute thing with Nightcrawler.
yeah,
Rogue asks him like, "Can you go get closer?" And so he teleports himself into a tree to listen
yeah.
to Magneto and Jean talking about like Stryker invaded the house and the kids are kidnapped. We got to do something about it.
That scene's hilarious when he's just like, "Oh, I'm just a little baby again." And he's like,
Yeah,
"I did not mean to snoop." Yes, you did.
they notice him. Yeah, I didn't mean to snoop. It's just
I
the
did not
cutest
mean to
line.
snoop. But of course you meant to snoop, you lying bitch. Like that's the only thing you were
That
doing.
was right. That was specifically the thing that you're doing right now. You went up in a tree for it.
Yeah, you were snooping, buddy. Just own it. Just don't be. Ugh.
But he's so cute, nobody minds.
Yeah, he's so cute. He's literally he's pressing his index fingers together like and sort of going, "I am just a little Munchkin." A Munchkin, whatever that is. I'm sorry to my German friends.
I was in the circus.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
all
was
that.
in I was in the circus. I was this fun acrobat. Da, 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 da.
You do the Nightcrawler voice way better than I do.
That is what he sounds like in
I
every
admire
scene.
I
In
admire that.
every
Yeah,
single scene.
that's your mutant skill. It's amazing.
Yeah.
The plot thing that's happening is Nightcrawler, as we know, kind of mysteriously was temporarily kidnapped by Stryker and who hypnotized him and got him to go and murder the president. And so Jean looks into his mind to find out the information that he knows. We see the same damn green flashbacks that Wolverine has been having for all of
Yeah.
these movies, but now all of a sudden Nightcrawler's part of it. And Jean figures out from that the base is at Alkali Lake.
Yeah.
And Wolverine says, "No, it's empty. I was just there." And Jean's like, "Well, duh, it's underground. You just didn't look that
And
hard."
Wolverine was just like, dirt.
Oh, yeah. He's got more sad stuff coming up because the next thing is Jean telling him that yes, we are going to kiss for a second, and then that's it. And I'm going to tell you that I like Scott, and then I'm going to walk away.
Hmm. Well, like, at least she puts paid to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, then Wolverine's just kind of like, well, there's one thing that my healing factor can't heal, a broken
it's my
heart.
broken heart.
Yeah. And also, for some reason, my toes, that doesn't heal them. So that's my one weakness,
Is his toes?
is his toes, yeah.
You need your
It's,
toes.
it's
That's going to
you
be hard on
do.
him.
Without them, his equilibrium is shot.
Yeah, that's what was distracting him. That's why he didn't figure out about Alkali Lake. He was just worried about his toes. He might get
Well, do you remember
frostbite.
that guy pulls Magneto's toes off using his metal powers? And then from then on, Wolverine, just for like several years of comics, is basically just a useless twat.
He has to get carried around everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, I don't like it any more than you do, Bob. But what can I tell you? My toes are completely fucked.
I'm the best at what I do, and what I
Yeah.
do is now get carried around. But then he dies and he comes back and he's totally fine for the fifth time.
Yeah, because he steals the mutant power of Toad, and then he gets his toes back. I'm sorry, that's dog
Exactly.
shit. I just think, just
It's fine. Don't worry
Jesus.
about it. They don't all work.
Oh God.
We don't need them all.
That's also my second Toad joke of the run. Like
Toad needs some love.
Toad should be in this movie.
Toad disappears. I think the point that I'm making is that there are so many people in this movie
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, yeah,
that they don't have time to do like this Jean and Wolverine thing is supposed to be like the end of this huge arc, this character
yeah,
arc that goes back to the first movie. But really, they only have like two conversations in this entire movie. They have a flirty
yeah.
one at the very beginning.
I mean, in a way, that's why I'm kind of grateful that they ended it, because like
Yeah,
it's not going anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. The third movie's not going to do it well. So
yeah, and unfortunately, like she picks the less surprising answer,
yeah.
and that's not what we need the X-Men to do. What we need the X-Men to do is to go do crazy shit.
And then yeah, Wolverine can hook up with Jean Grey for a change. He deserves a win.
And he almost gets one. This is
Yeah.
another like I am actually always in favor of more romancy stuff in superhero movies, and so I'm always just like a big fan of these scenes. They got some tense. Things are getting intense, and we get another little romance moment because now here's Jean all of a sudden coming into Wolverine's tent, and she kisses him for a while, and they're starting to make out.
So things are getting intense. I get it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
Good. Good. Good joke. Good
I,
joke.
I got that one all by myself.
It was good. It was
Yeah.
good.
Uh, he notices that she's got a claw scar, and so it turns out it's Mystique. It's not
Uh-oh.
Jean after all. And this is our first piece of information about how Mystique.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a
What?
minute.
Wait, what?
Why does she have the claw scar? Can Mystique not get rid of the claw scar when she transforms?
I don't know. That is a thing I don't know.
I don't get it. Like, surely she can get rid of that.
Yeah, she wanted
Like,
him to figure it out. I think might be the answer.
oh, I see. Okay, yeah, maybe,
She
maybe.
wanted to get him all excited as Jean, and then for him to realize that actually like Mystique would be awesome as a person to go out with.
Do you think when Wolverine's penis extends, it makes the snake noise?
It does. Oh, it would be terrible if a little claw comes out.
Oh, that would be awful.
Yeah, that
Yes.
would that would
Oh no, I don't
basically.
even want to think about that.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize now. Now I can't think of anything else. But this is like a new story thread. Mystique has feelings, and she wants Wolverine, and he I feel stupidly, says no and kicks her out.
Mm.
And then they completely forget about that too. So, I mean, the nice thing is that they're doing with the main plots is just that there are so many story threads
Yeah.
that they can pick up and drop. It's blessed with a whole bunch of interesting situations. Jason is starting to make an illusion for Xavier. He is making Xavier believe that he is back in school,
Yeah.
and he hears a little girl crying, and he goes and comforts her. I don't know how you feel about this little girl. I'm, I
It's
I don't love
it's
her.
I think it's a little bit like odd because it doesn't ring true to me that Xavier would ever fall for this. Like, I know again you gotta just put aside that stuff, but
Yeah.
it seems so odd. Like a little girl who's like, "I want you to take me into the inner workings of everything." When what he should just say is no.
Let's
And
just
then the
look
movie, like,
around.
that's
Yeah.
how it should go. It should be like, take me to Cerebro so we can follow the mutants. Then you just like a slow tracking on his face, and he just goes, no. And then it's just like absolute slam cut to the credits, like dun, 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 like that. I would love that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I will.
How about we just check upstairs first?
I don't recognize you. You are obviously a villain in disguise.
And she's such a creepy little girl too. We don't get.
Even by this point, surely the creepy little girl thing is done to death as well.
I
Like,
agree.
I mean, I don't even know what started it. I guess it was like Japanese horror.
Well, no, I mean it started with the fact that little girls are creepy as hell.
Oh yeah, that's true. They are disgusting. Ugh. Yeah. Brian Singer's the same. He only likes little boys.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got no interest. That's why he makes her evil here.
Yeah. It's oh God. Oh dear. Yeah. Oh Brian.
Speaking of Brian Singer,
If we
then
must.
then there's a seduction scene between an old man and a kid
Oh boy.
where Magneto is sitting with Mystique. They're on the jet. They are now on their way to Alkali Lake, and it's another great Pyro scene where Pyro says like they say you're the bad guy. Is that what they say? It's so good for both characters,
Yeah, yeah.
and they
Oh, it's
do.
like you are. It's like something. Never let anyone tell you different or something.
Yeah,
You are the inheritors of the earth. Yeah,
you are a god among insects.
that's it. That's what he says. Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant. So good. So good. If only it was going somewhere of consequence, you know?
it is. They also do. What's your name? And he says John. What's your real name, John?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, yeah.
This is Pyro, and
Don't
it's
don't they
a beautiful moment.
don't they do that in one of the other movies? But they actually say like, "What's your that's your slave name? What's your real name?" And it's
They
like
do.
really uncomfortable.
First Class hits this note pretty hard.
Yeah,
That like for Mystique, she shouldn't be hiding in her Jennifer Lawrence body. She should always be blue.
yeah. Because like, there's nothing worse than looking like Jennifer Lawrence.
I know. But I love this, and the thing that I like about this is, as with every little tiny story thread, like does
Yeah.
not get enough attention. But I think Pyro might be the only character who actually changes over the course of the movie.
Yeah.
He has a story arc that leads from where he is to a totally different place by the end of the movie.
Agreed. I mean, I think
Everybody else just
Wolverine
stays the
does. I
same.
think Wolverine has some vaguely interesting development, but it really is just like him throwing those dog tags on the,
Yeah, but that's
into the
mostly just
snow.
about him getting information
Yes, yes.
as opposed to really like changing as a person.
Agreed, agreed. Yeah.
Pyro's the best.
Yes.
And so we see an old man on public transportation telling a young boy that he is special and magical. And if he would like an audition for an X-Men movie, maybe
Oh
they should
boy.
get together and discuss that in private. The subtext is becoming the text. And that means this
Oh
is the
Jesus.
end of Act 2 of X2, X-Men
Whoa.
United. As usual with superhero movies, Act 3 is set almost entirely inside a spooky facility. And you know how we love facilities around here. Here's what's coming up. Everything is controlled from inside that room,
Yeah.
which does not seem hugely efficient, but on the other hand, I don't know shit about spillways. So, I don't
You
know.
don't know about spillways. Oh my God, this guy doesn't even know about spillways.
This is going to be a
Okay.
very educational movie for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn all about it.
Okay. I mean, it stands to reason that you should already know about spillways because they're
I
fucking
know,
awesome.
it's just I failed that subject at school.
jeez.
I was just always
If I'd have known
bored.
that, I wouldn't have bothered coming on.
Stuart, I need your help on this.
Oh, God.
You're gonna be my guy. You're gonna be my
It's not
spillway
my
guy.
job to educate you, okay?
All I can do is ask.
Mm-hmm.
All right, stay tuned for that. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you for having me.
I will see you back here for Act 3 of X2 X-Men United on the Superheroes Everyday podcast. Thanks for listening.
This is all my fault.
Actually, they discovered that males are the ones who carry the mutant gene and pass it on, so it's his fault.